한번 해봅시다. Nature impure by girl with a perpetually renewed strength upon life, and that is why all the great myths are dark, so that one division, the first carnage of in creation. This essential separation, possibilities with this and these words plague nor the theater but of life. We do not see that life as it is and as it has been fashioned for reasons that like plague the theater to drain abscesses flexibility. Perhaps the theater's poison injected 부정되다. It's the social body epidemic in which nothing but the application of a law of nature, whereby every gesture and very action, theater-like, the plague is crisis which is resolved by the death or cure, and the plague is superior diseases because it is an extreme purification. Similarly, invites the mind to share a delirium. The action of theater, like that of beneficiary for impelling men to themselves, reveals the lie, the vastness and hypothesis of our world. It shakes off the efficiency, inequality of matter, in which invades with the clearness testimony of the senses. Heroic attitude they would never must now ask is whether the slippery world which is committing of man capable of imposition dogmas in which we no longer believe. In the Loveland there is a work by primitivity painter, known or were unknown, I cannot say, but whose name will never be representative of an important period in the history. Opinion makes the painting that come after inane understood in the same way. We curious example of the derived from it is emotion in any intensely active throughout from a single glance, even before importance seems massed there like a sudden gathering. Sky of picture, in fact, is black and shallow, but even keeps at distance. Every brightness a kind of drama. or nature for which is I defy any painter of the great period give us an equivalent, done as if he were a guest at a prostitute banquet, and in fact that they are strutting about, some as mothers, combining their hair and dancing. Character of profound but poetic 시적인 sexuality that has eluded us. On the left of the picture, on the little to the rear, a black tower, slam, rocks, plants, zigzagging, rose marks, milestones, effect of creeping crosses it, stormy light which brings as your irregular skin that is happens that where we are watching fireworks, the crackling ice in its humility lies certain against the night, trees, towers, mountains, houses, light, and sudden a submission of the different element 원소 born from a place where they are its full destructive force. There is moreover something frighteningly emerging, and it is enough to, in any case, holds that fire which one will Danny products air, the heavy material stability of between the sea and sky, but towards the right projects then the speed of land crowded by monastery. It would be difficult to say why the impression of disaster created by the sight only one. It seems as if the painter possessed certain secrets of linear. In any cases, this impression of nature is especially in the manner or representation mere concrete efficiency. Profundity is in of the picture, which the various details introduced in our minds with preciously the effects of a piece of music. There is another idea of fatality expressed as by the sudden appreciation of this fire, than by ironic or obeying a powerful intellectual harmony. The idea of Mary and there were one too concerning the importance speech 말하는 거 speech uselessness 소용이 없다 supermaterial material that should belongs Occident everything specifically critical, i.e. everything that cannot be everything itself considered Occidental, preserved Occidental theater thus, dialogue, thing written and spoken thus, not belongs to books, as it proved by branch of the history of the spoken. I say the stage is the concrete physical plane which asks concrete language to speak, satisfy the senses it express are beyond the reach of spoken language. I will be asked what there's such or which words cannot express in which far more than words of the state. It seems to be to determine difference. It consists of everything that occupies the stage. Everything that different ways of concrete meaning and even of accessory playwright satisfying them 만족하다. But it permits the substitution domain which does 지배하다. Poetry is space capable 할 수 있는 of creating key kinds of material images equivalent 동등한 to word images. Further on, poetry assumes and expects contaminate mimicry poetry and with the other means of expression and the consequence 결과 reactions 반응 reciprocal destruction 파괴. I shall return a little later objectively accompanied of a thought changes it completely. All the arts I shall be allowed to speak for ideologically values as they exist, representing words of sentences, as in our European patronymy, ideas, attitudes, Oriental language which represents night, is eye, through which the past that designs consisted hieroglyphs in which that because of double nature it prestige evokes 일어나다. The mind images of an intense natural poetry it provides 제공하다. 시를 whatever the case of the language and its poetry may be, I wish lives under the exclusive 제외적인 postures, attitude, 태도 considered the minor part of staging, protection, costumes, lighting, and set. I shall say that to the degree that the struggles directly with the stage, with passing through word, and why. What is the theater much more thing oppressive to mind? What in the theater as everywhere else dead and done with obstacles of both reproduction, which customary limits for feelings and words, and transcending. In any case, I hasten to say it at once. A theater which subordinate the mice, scene, and production that may inverse grammars, glossaries, positive, accidental. Furthermore, I am well aware that language, the gesture is elucidating stage of analyzed character wrestle with all psychological nature, monopolize wholly complexes, debate, 논쟁하다. complexes, 불공평한. When the theater never goes so far as to ask whether a social moral system might not by chance be inculcations. In fact, for the theater to be asking the question about me as purpose, which is for me higher, more skilled one. All the preoccupations charming, or even say carry on many is nearly or contemporary seems the sting of decadence and pause. The contemporary theater is descent because it has lost gravity from effects from danger. This matter of in giving tree the form of tree could just as animal or the hill. We had heard beautiful woman call to us in trumpet. Blesses and hear us the bellow would have eternally understand the poetry anarchic to the degree relationships of object to object draws us closer, unlike those I have just directly. This inversion poetry in space, which is the exclusive province of the mice, circumstances which would take to hero that move just that the moment assumes an equal to woman's cry. And though what is speech or a man disgust as an animal to renounce abandon to the music, cinema later adopted from an intellectual image to true image. Recipe entirely gracious endeavors. Another example would be sudden appears of an invented metaphysical dragon like an compress its essential words. In the second or third time I have brought up that ideas, and I expected many will be due access, anti-poetic, accidental, psychological, all its physical poet effects on every adult profound attitude, which could be called metaphysics. In I shall take up this point again in a moment. For the present discussion, 논쟁, history, 역사, question, I believe of determining, 결심하다, future orientation, no one determine anything, and one time was any. 끊겼죠. 네, 저는 전단지 통계도 하고 있습니다. 이제 열심히 해야 됩니다. 자, 이건 여기까지 하고요. History of the Theater, 이쪽에서 보시겠습니다. For war especially important was supply during the minor theaters had to make a number of adjustments primarily, and thus serving less connections with 연결되다 reporter companies were initiated by the opera seeking solve its permanent finance problems. Early for were permitted to continue performance, but those who defied the graft were expropriated. Former retrains, although 비록 dot out all the controversies, 논쟁되다. Regular comedy, primarily by the 5 acts. Consequently, most of the Italian fairs, 18th century comedy, organized sharing company regulation similarly government the older company ostensibly all decisions were made meeting the actors after 1000 included deliberations. On the other hand, 다른 한편으로 the opera was organized along entirely different lines, although the crown provided a subsidiary. The management was formed out to enterprise because of large express present about spectacular productions in Paris, and after 1775 ventures was operated manager assumed both risk and profits. 무엇을 겪다 profit 이익 이렇게 되고 included difficulties annual renters consequently dramatic troops play daily what requires land simpler than in London a long play opera the opera normally presented one major published 너무 많죠.
일부러 나왔다고.
네, 여기서 또 들어갔죠. 했던 것들입니다. 복습을 해보자. 역사에 대한 것인데 연극의 사학 과정이에요. 누가 어떻게 했다, 누가 어떻게 했다, 누가 뭘 만들다 이런 것도 있지 않습니까? 자, actors and acting 배우들과 연기 performance is deemed successfully occurred by the late 18th. Certain tragic comic lines were usually filled by the same actor. For example, roles of contemporary comedy as a rule, actors remain in some line of business throughout their careers. The 18th century Michael Champler's understudy around performance strengthened by editor was refused. Interred in some unknown spot in the same year that in the succeeding period, the leading performers' comedy Francis, her ability to express tenderness and grief made her especially effectively admitted to Francis on the French stage. The most famous players on the 18th century accepted as understood at the 1735 8 leading performer. Every detail in performance. Tradition, retired, vocal, physical, circum, full recognition until retirement. Therefore, fine boys achieve principle 원칙의 was excellent in certain roles but lacking trended. Treated as fat as alcohol, he tired 1000. As this brief survey indicate 지시하다 system of passing along lines of business and role inspiration for many for performer of great versatility. She was also leading in custom reform, developed of strong tradition and an outstanding ensemble. 상징, coming from the Revolution French, acceptable, it removed the legal grounds that had encouraged prejudice. 선언하다, custom practice in France differed from ordinarily formal classical replaced characters such as husband. 17th century plays were written, company were drawn, actors privately owned garments. Each company one extensive wardrobe, but since it was reused constantly, the customs were treated her wardrobe valued Francis when they made her debut. Significant change came. The laws Western ethnic dress to wear China Voltaire. The result were more nearly Turkish than Chinese in appearance innovation. We see, nevertheless, 더군다나 geared after Clarion and looking. 네, 여기까지 하겠습니다. 여기까지.